this is Simon Sage from iMore. Today we are taking a look at Mass Effect Infiltrator. It is a great new game that came out in the iOS App Store. It is universal, available on iPad and iPhone for $7.99. So those of you who have played Mass Effect in the past will be kind of familiar with the universe here. What's really special about Mass Effect Infiltrator is that it ties in directly with the Mass Effect 3 game that was launched recently for Xbox 360, PS3, and PC. So the way it does that is through the system called Galaxy at War. Basically, this is kind of a collaborative thing where, well, you've got the main guy, Shepard, who is fighting some big intergalactic menace, and in the end it's going to culminate in some big final battle. Now, by playing this game, you get to add galactic readiness points to your Mass Effect 3 game. In doing so, you kind of gather up resources to improve your odds of beating the big bad guys at the end. So it's a really interesting way of tying in kind of a mobile spin-off with the actual game. As you can see here, the graphics are really great. Storyline-wise, it's kind of interesting. You are playing the role of a character who is initially part of a human supremacist group, and this is, I think, the second or third level, and he's starting to get the feeling that his boss is not all he's cracked up to be. We'll get a taste of combat here in a second. But it's at its core, we've got you could see some of the controls there. You got on the left side, I'm moving around, and on the right side, I'm looking around. It's and there aren't any overlays for joysticks, which is nice. There's also this kind of cool trail following behind your touch inputs, so you kind of know whereabouts you're looking and where you're going. The touch zones on either side of the screen tend to be good enough that I don't worry about missing anything. Every once in a while I accidentally tap in the middle instead of on the sides. That comes up in combat too, where you're trying to target particular enemies. But in terms of upgrades and stuff like that, we'll take a look at a little bit of a look at it later. But the core game is busted up into different encounters, and you are rated based on your style, which is still a kind of an iffy rating for me. I think it's mostly figured out based on how quickly you drop enemies and how often you switch weapons, how many powers you use, that kind of thing. Also, how quickly you're also rated on speed as well as health, how many times you got hit through the whole encounter. After that's all tallied up, you get cash and prizes. Here we are launching into some combat finally. You'll notice that in the top left and right we've got 2 extra buttons here. You drag down from either one of them and release on whichever button you like. To start shooting at a guy, you just tap on him. You don't have to hit a trigger button, which is nice. All you have to do, as you can see there, is just drift the aiming reticle onto the bad guy. So that definitely makes it nice in that, like, you just have to focus on aiming. You'll see that in the top right, as my dude there is shooting, there's a little red meter climbing up. That's the overheat. As soon as it caps out, you stop shooting. So you have to make sure that you're kind of ready to fire as soon as you tap on a guy. It also makes it tricky sometimes when you've got a bunch of guys here together in the same area. Weapon can max out pretty quickly if you're swapping between targets. So eventually you want to switch weapons so that if one weapon is overheated, you can switch over to the shotgun. Here I am in close range. Now this is me behind cover here, and this is actually hugely important. If you are out in the open for too long, it can get really rough really quick. I've actually had a heck of a time keeping up with this. Sometimes I find the controls are a little super snicky. I just vaulted over the cover there, so you do that with swipe gestures on the left side. That right there is one of the biotic powers. You didn't really get a great view of it, but that's kind of one of the cool kind of things in Mass Effect. And you've got kind of Kinesis powers, you've got electrical stuff, you can throw black holes at people. It's all pretty cool, and adds a lot to the flavor. I mean, it kind of turns the game from more than just a standard run and gun and into you know, it's kind of strategic too, you know. So I'm kind of hurting a little bit here. It's a little bit tricky, but there we think we're almost clear there. Yeah, looks like. So, yeah, there we go. So we've got our analysis here. As you can see, I didn't do too well on either of those 3 criteria, but you get some cash, and you also get intel. Now, intel is how you participate in the whole Galaxy at War section. You can, when you get intel, you can either trade it in for Galaxy at War Galactic Readiness, or you can just trade it in for cash, with which you buy upgrades like this stuff here. We got tons of different weapons that are each upgradable to multiple levels, different combat maneuvers, so you got a slide there. I think there's also a charge for melee. You also got different helmets, different bits of armor, new biotic powers too, so there's really a nice range of customizability here. That gives you a lot of replay value and a lot to really chew on. I mean, the levels here are really challenging, I've found, and you know, even if you've kitted everything out, you also have replays in order to kind of get 3 stars and everything. So as you can see here, you can also buy cash within game through in-app purchases if you're into that kind of thing, and this is the trade-in screen for intel. So lots of different ways to get the in-game currency there. Anyway, I've been a huge fan of Mass Effect Infiltrator. It's very high quality graphics. Oh, here we go. This is the Galaxy at War map with Origin integration. Origin is EA's proprietary digital distribution platform. They kind of launched it on PC in order to combat with Steam, and I begrudge them a little bit of that. I'm a huge Steam fan, but it's really cool to see their integration there with friends lists and whatnot. Anyway, you can grab Mass Effect Infiltrator now in the iTunes App Store for $7.99. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best looking game out there since Infinity Blade, and yeah, definitely check it out. This has been Simon Sage from iMore, and this is Mass Effect Infiltrator.